second law of prosperity is the law of realization. And what it states is that God can only materialize in your life where God is recognized in your consciousness. And your consciousness is the beliefs and dominant thought patterns that you hold. So what this means is the abundance that you seek, the prosperity that you seek, the amount of money that you're wanting to make can only be experienced by you where it is believed as reality by you in your mind. My journey with this law began actually not with money, not with prosperity, but with health. Most people know my journey of healing, having a miraculous healing in 2004 from several diseases and illnesses. But what they don't know is that a year and a half later, I was checked back into that very same hospital with the exact same diagnosis and prognosis. And I knew then that, yes, the law of attraction had worked for me, but there was something else that I was missing. And the missing part was the law of realization. The missing part was that I didn't actually see myself as healthy and well. My complete health and wellness was tied up in a condition. It was if I ate these certain things, if I meditated every day, if I ran and exercised, then I deserved to be well. I didn't have unconditional wellness in my mind. It was not realized there. So when I began to see myself as well, no matter what, I began to expect wellness to break out all over my life in every circumstances, no matter what was happening. That's when I finally healed for the last time. And that's when I set the new zip code for my life of being well. Your zip code is determined by your consciousness, what you believe about yourself and what you believe about life and what you expect from life. And that is the law of realization in action. What you expect for yourself, what you believe is possible and probable for yourself determines what you're going to experience every time. It sets the tone and it builds the building blocks for the reality that you're going to live in. So if you want prosperity, if you want absolute abundance, you want to be that multimillionaire, you just want to get to six figures, or you just want to have enough so that you live the life that you love, you've got to see that in your mind. And you've got to realize that as truth for you. Not that you just desire it, but you've got to move desire to expectation. You have to move desire from claiming. So you're no longer just wanting, but you're claiming it. That this is so. This is my reality, and nothing else will exist for me. Health and wellness now is my reality, and so nothing else exists for me. Money in abundance is my reality now, so nothing else exists for me. I no longer have to worry about how I'm going to pay a bill. I no longer have to talk to my friends as they're going on a trip and feel embarrassed because I can't go, so I have to make up some fabulous excuse about why I can't go to Cancun this weekend. I no longer have to just scrimp and scrave to pay my monthly bills. I have more than enough. I have more than what I need. I have an abundance. Why? Because I realized prosperity as my reality. And I did not get my realization from external. It came from within first. And then my external began to match my internal. So that's the law of realization in action. Affirmations don't work for most people because most people just say them and they never move it from an affirmation into a realization. And when it becomes a realization is when it becomes true for you, when you believe it in every fiber of your being and you therefore feel it in all the cells of your being. Just saying that money is everywhere, that money comes to me easily and effortlessly is not going to do anything if in your body and in your mind you feel like that's a bunch of crap. I don't see the money anywhere. I don't know where the money's coming from. You've got to move your affirmation from an affirmation into a realization. The second reason why most affirmations don't work for people is they continue to say the same one over and over and again, and it never moves them up the emotional scale. The whole thing about working with these universal laws is you begin to feel better and better and believe more and more. And your feeling place is the compass that tells you how close you are to the manifestation, how close you are to the belief that that particular statement is true for you. If you're saying that I am rich beyond measure, but you're feeling poor beyond belief, then that statement is not going to do any work for you. And that's why affirmations don't work for most people, because they say them and they don't believe them. And they say them consistently and never move it beyond an affirmation into a realization. The third reason why affirmations don't work for people is this, that you are continually affirming what's already happening, what the universe is already doing. You don't need to say that money is everywhere. You don't need to say that I am always supported, because that's already happening. The universe was set up to support you at every single measure. So you don't need to continue to affirm what's already happening. You need to affirm your ability to see what's already happening. So instead of saying money is everywhere I go, say I see the opportunities where money comes to me. I recognize the places where abundance exists in my life. I see money in every situation and in every circumstance I participate in. Everything I touch turns to gold. That's the proper use of affirmation, because it now moves it from what the universe is already doing for you, because the universe doesn't need your help. It doesn't need your affirmation. It doesn't need your confirmation to break out abundance all over your life. It's already there. You need to be able to shift your realization of what's already true. And that's the proper use for affirmations. And that use of affirmation will shift your life, and you'll be able to transform your life in a very real way and in a very short amount of time. You begin to align yourself with the law of realization by changing your consciousness, by changing what you believe about life and how you respond to life. So particularly if we're talking about prosperity, what are some actions that you do right now that are holding you from prosperity? Do you go to the grocery store and look at the price of apples or tomatoes and say, God, that's expensive? Let me tell you something. Prosperous people aren't worried about the price of tomatoes or apples. A prosperous person goes to the store knowing that they want apples, and they pick out the amount of apples that they want without even looking at the price, and they take them to the counter knowing that they have enough, knowing that they deserve what they want. That's the first action. Put in place that you deserve what you want and begin to operate that way. Second thing to align yourself with this law is to buy what you want. You know, are you going to the store? I can remember my own life when I was standing in poverty. I would go to the store and I would see a shirt that I would want. And I would love it. I would say, oh my God, it feels great. It looks great. I could visualize myself wearing the shirt and what people would say to me when they would see me on the street or at a party in this shirt. And then I would look at the price tag and I would say, damn, that's too much. I can't afford that. So then I would go over to the sales rack over there. Well, the truth of the matter was that if the shirt was $40, I had $40. But I would go to the sales rack because the sales rack I could get for $40, I could get 3 or 4 shirts. That's holding yourself out of prosperity. That's lack consciousness. And that's not utilizing the law of realization to its highest mark for your life. If you want to get in the flow with the law of realization, you have to buy what you want. Even if it means if you want to get 4 shirts, you went to the mall to get 4 shirts, but you see one you really love, get that one. Because you're telling yourself, I deserve what I want, and I have enough money to get what I want. And that starts the flow of prosperity and abundance in your life in a very powerful way. Stop living in lack. Stop living in poverty and begin to make the decision right now that you deserve it. Not that you deserve it, but that it's everywhere, that you have the prosperity. The last thing that you can begin to operate with the law of realization is start taking account of where you are prosperous. Make a list of all the things where you are prosperous. Do you have a home or an apartment? Do you have a car? Do you have a wealth of friends? Do you have money enough to eat every day? What in your life is prosperity showing itself? Where in your life is prosperity showing itself? Become more aware of that, because as you become more aware of it, your awareness will expand and your experience with it will expand. There are some major differences between how the wealthy think and how the poor think. Number one, the wealthy are always thinking in terms of abundance, of having enough. And so their thought processes are always to, what do I really want to experience here? Not what can I experience? They make decisions first based upon what they want, and they think about the how later. Also, they're always thinking about how can they expand more, not how can they contract. These are prosperous thoughts. These are abundant thoughts. These are thoughts that are aligned with the laws that govern your very experience with prosperity. If you are thinking that there's not enough, if you're thinking, how can I do this? I don't see a way. If you're thinking about lack and limitation, that there are limits to your money, that there are limits to your experience with prosperity, then you are out of the flow of prosperity. Now, I know that people think, well, I only have $5 in my bank account. How can I think wealthy? Your outer experience does not determine your inner experience. It is vice versa. Your inner experience determines your outer experience. Nothing and no one can control what you think. You have all control over that and how you feel based upon your thinking. So visualize yourself as prosperous. Visualize yourself as wealthy. Think wealthy thoughts about your life. Think, I have more than enough. Think, everywhere I go, I see nothing but opportunity. Think thoughts such as, I make money and more so every day. I have greater and greater ideas which bring me more and more money. My money makes me money. I meet the right type of people that bring me the right type of experiences. This is the law of realization and action, and this law will help you transform your life. It's time to prosper, but you got to realize it first.